Good morning. Now, locomotion and movement. The term locomotion also means movement. Movement may be defined as the act of changing place or position by the entire body or one or more of its body parts. The study of movement is called kinesiology. And then movements a movement of an organism from one place to another place is called locomotion. Locomotion serves the animals in finding food and mates and in escaping predators or unsuitable habitats. Animal locomotion has many manifestations including walking, running, jumping, crawling, climbing, swimming, flying, etc. Types of movement are amoeboid movement, ciliary movement, flagellated movement. Amoeboid movement is by pseudopodia, which are foot-like structures. Amoeboid movement is exhibited by amoeba and leukocytes. Ciliary movement is mediated by cilia. Flagellary movement is by flagella. And then flagella are the characteristic locomotive organelles of the protozoans like Euglena, Chlamydomonas, Trypanosoma, etc. And then in case of the muscular movement, in vertebrates including human, the skeletal system forms the framework of the body, providing support and protection for some of the soft organs acting as levers in movement and providing surfaces for attachment of the skeletal muscles. Movement of bones occur only at joints. The movements are brought about by contraction of skeletal muscles inserted onto the articulating bones by fine cords of white fibrous tissues called tendons. Cords of yellow elastic tissue termed ligaments stabilize the joints by holding the articulating bones together. Three types of joints: fibrous joints, cartilage joints, and synovial joints. Skeletal muscle is referred to as striped or striated muscle because of the characteristic banded pattern of the cells seen under the microscope. Skeletal muscles are so named because these are usually attached to the bones via tendons and are used to move the skeleton. These are also called voluntary muscles because their consciousness control over it are under the control of the will. These muscles form the largest tissues in the body, accounting for 4 to 50% of the total body weight. As connective tissue sheath, connective tissue surrounding the individual muscle fibers is known as endomysium. Bundles of muscle fibers are held together by connective tissues called perimysium. The entire muscle is enclosed in a connective tissue sheath called epimysium. The microscopic structure of the skeletal muscle reveals that the fibers or the cells lie parallel to each other and are seen to be roughly cylindrical in shape. And then the banded appearance consisting of alternate dark and light bands. Yes, the each muscle fiber has several nuclei which are situated just under the plasma lemma called sarcolemma. The covering of the muscle fiber is called sarcolemma, and the cytoplasm of the muscle fiber is known as sarcoplasm. The mitochondria of the muscle cell is called sarcoplasmic reticulum, and mitochondria is essential for producing ATP from glucose and oxygen to power the contractile mechanism. A specialized oxygen binding substance called myoglobin is also present, which is similar to hemoglobin of RBCS. See, contractile proteins and muscle contraction. Contractile proteins and muscle contraction. There are two types of contractile myofilaments within the muscle fiber called thick and thin filaments. And then the thick filaments are made up of a protein called myosin, and they are dark bands. The thin filaments are made up of a protein called actin, and these are correspond to the light bands. And then next one, see, each sarcomere, the is bounded at each end by a dense stripe called Z line. The Z line is actually a flattened disc-like cytoskeletal protein that connects the thin actin filaments overlapping with the thick myosin filaments of two adjoining sarcomeres. You have already studied. See this. When action potential spreads from the nerve along the sarcolemma, it penetrates deep into the muscle fiber and releases calcium from the intracellular stores. Calcium triggers the binding of myosin to the actin filament next to it, forming so-called cross bridge. ATP then provides the energy for the two filaments to slide over each other, pulling the Z lines at each end of the sarcomere closer to one another, shortening the sarcomere. This is called sliding filament theory. This was proposed by Huxley and Gene Hansen. And then muscle relaxes when nerve stimulation stops. The calcium is pumped back into its intracellular storage means the cross bridges between the actin and myosin filaments break down. Myofibrils slide back into their original position. And then yes, yes, human skeleton is divided into axial and appendicular skeleton. Before going to this, skeleton, exoskeleton, endoskeleton, exoskeleton is present in cockroaches outside the body, fishes, and yes, reptiles, birds, and mammals. Exoskeleton is absent in case of is amphibians. Now, axial skeleton consists of skull, vertebral column, ribs, and sternum. Skull rests on the upper end of the vertebral column. Skull is divided into two bones, cranial bones and facial bones. Cranial bones and facial bones. Now, axial skeleton, it is in mid-longitudinal axis, a number of bones 80. Okay. Now, axial skeleton includes skull, cranium, face, hyoid, ear ossicles, vertebral column, ribs, and sternum. Its cranium, top of head, is made by 8 bones. Face, front of the head, 14 bones. Hyoid, base of the tongue, 1 bone. Ear ossicles, middle ear, 6 bones. Vertebral column, spine, neck and trunk, 26 bones. Ribs, chest sides, 24. Sternum, chest front, 1. Appendicular skeleton is pectoral girdles, and then is appendicular skeleton is made by 126 bones. Pectoral girdles, scapula, clavicle. Scapula is the back of shoulder, clavicle is the top of shoulder, and then arms, humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, phalanges, and then 3 pelvic girdles. Fingers are supported by phalanges, palms are supported by metacarpals, wrist is supported by carpals, forearm supported by ulna, and then forearm is supported by radius and ulna, and the pelvic girdles or hip girdles is located in hips. Yes, ilium, ischium and pubis, upper, lower, inner. Ilium is upper, ischium is lower, and pubis is inner. Legs, lower limbs, femur, patella, knee part, tibia, shank, preaxial, fibula, shank, postaxial, tarsals, ankle, metatarsals, foot, phalanges, toes, total 126 plus 80, 206 number of bones. A joint is the place of articulation of 2 or more bones. The study of dance is called arthrology. And then functionally, joints allow movement between the bones and also permit flexibility and the movement of the skeletal bones. And then the classification of types of joints, mainly fibrous joints, cartilage joints, and synovial joints. Freely movable joints are classified by the range of movable movement possible. These are ball and socket joint, hinge joint, gliding joint, pivot joint, condyloid joint, and saddle joint. See, fibrous joints, also known as immovable joints. The bones forming the joints are connected with the tough fibrous material. The joints is between the skull bones. The sutures are completely movable. The tibia and fibula bones in the leg are held together along with their shafts by a sheet of fibrous tissue, forming a fibrous joint which allows limited degree of movement. Cartilage joints, also known as slightly movable joints. Cartilage joints, also known as slightly movable joints. See, cartilage joints are formed of a pad of fibrocartilage, a tough material which acts as a shock absorber. The adjacent vertebrae of the vertebral column are separated by the intervertebral discs, forming the cartilaginous joints which allow limited degree of movement. The symphysis pubis is also a cartilage joint which will be softened by the circulating hormones during pregnancy to permit childbirth. Synovial joint, also known as freely movable joint. The synovial joints are characterized by the presence of a space or capsule between the articulating bones. The ends of the bones are held together by the fibrous tissue, and the capsule is lubricated with a thick, sticky fluid called synovial fluid. Types of synovial joints. The synovial joints are ball and socket joints. The head of one bone is the ball-shaped, which articulates with the cup-shaped socket of another one. Examples are shoulder and hip joints. And then next one, hip joints. Hip joints are elbow joints, knee joints, and the ankle. The joints between phalanges of the fingers and toes. Gliding joints. The articular surfaces are flat and allowing only limited movement between carpal bones in the wrist and the tarsal bones in the foot. Pivot joint. The joints allow a bone or a limb to rotate. One bone fits into a hoop-shaped ligament that holds it close to another and allows it to rotate in the ring thus formed. The head rotates on the pivot joint. Example, the axis vertebra held within the ring formed by the transverse ligament and the odontoid process of the atlas vertebra serves the best example for the pivot joint. Condyloid joint. A condyle is a rounded projection on a bone, and in a condyle joint it sits within a cup-shaped depression on the other name. And then examples include condylar process of the mandible and the temporal bone of the skull. And then joints between metacarpal and phalanges, bones in the hand and between the metatarsal and phalanges bones of the foot. Saddle joint. Yes, the important joint is at the base of the thumb between trapezium bone and the wrist and the first metacarpal bone. And disorders of the musculoskeletal systems. Myasthenia gravis. Myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disorder in which an antibody reduces the efficiency of transmission between the motor neuron and muscle. The antibody blocks receptor sites at the neuromuscular junctions and prevents the normal action of acetylcholine and impulse transmission. And then next, tetany. Tetany is caused by hypercalcemia, an abnormally low level of calcium in the blood, which is in turn caused by the deficiency of parathyroid hormone PTH due to hypoparathyroidism. Hypercalcemia increases excitability of the peripheral nerves. And then muscular dystrophy. constitutes a group of genetically transmitted diseases characterized by progressive atrophy of different groups of muscles with the loss of strength and increasing disability and deformity. And then muscular dystrophy, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, myotonic dystrophy, arthritis, an inflammatory joint disease characterized by inflammation of one or more joints, rheumatoid arthritis, and then osteoporosis, loss of bone density, the amount of bone tissue caused by excessive absorption of calcium and phosphorus from bone due to progressive loss of protein matrix of the bone. And then this is after menopause and are associated with the period of increased bone loss in a woman. And gout is a form of metabolic disorder in which blood levels of uric acid is raised, may be due to abnormal purine metabolism or increased purine intake. Gout is more prevalent in males than females. And then next, see here. Total bones in the human body are 206. Head 29, trunk 57, arm 60, legs 60. And then special adaptations of human skeleton. Human skeleton shows several adaptive features. Foramen magnum is directed downward so that the head may rest vertically on the vertebral column. 4 curves in the backbone keep the center of gravity near the heels. This helps to maintain balance and makes walking erect on 2 legs much easier. Thorax is wider from side to side than from front to back. This helps to maintain equilibrium. Bowl-like pelvis supports the lower abdominal viscera. And then you have studied ribs. How many pairs are there? 2 ribs, false ribs, floating ribs. All you have studied and have explained in the previous class. And then next one. Yes, vertebral column consists of 26 bones divided into different regions. Cervical vertebra, thoracic vertebra, lumbar vertebra, and then sacral vertebra, caudal vertebra. And cervical vertebra 7. It is important bit. Number of cervical vertebra in mammals or in humans 7. Thoracic vertebra 12. Lumbar vertebra 5. Sacrum is formed of 5 fused vertebra. And lastly, the coccyx or tail is formed of 3 to 5 small fused vertebra. Okay. Intervertebral disc provide flexibility and act as shock absorbers. Functions of the vertebral column. The organization of numerous individual bones in the vertebral column enable a certain amount of movement. The intervertebral discs provide flexibility and act as shock absorbers. The vertebral column supports the skull and protects the brain. The vertebral canal formed by the vertebral foramen protects the delicate spinal cord lying within it. The intervertebral foramen provides the passage for the spinal nerves, blood vessels, and lymph vessels. Thoracic cage, sternum and ribs. The thoracic cage is formed by the sternum or breastbone anteriorly, 12 pairs of ribs forming a lateral portion, and the thoracic vertebra at the back. The sternum is a flat bone which lies under the skin in the middle of the front of the chest. The 12 pairs of ribs from the lateral walls of the thoracic cage. Anteriorly, the first 7 pairs of ribs articulate directly with the sternum, and these are known as 2 ribs. The next 3 pairs articulate only indirectly. The lowest 2 pairs of ribs do not join the sternum at all and hence referred to as floating ribs. The arrangement of ribs gives flexibility of structure and helps in breathing. The thoracic cage protects the vital organs, namely the heart and lungs. Okay, the remaining we will discuss in the Zoom class tomorrow.